Hello everyone, welcome to the Archipelago live stream. My name is Liam, one of the developers here at Archipelago, where we create Lightroom presets and creative profiles for photographers. And I'm very excited for this stream. We're going to be taking a look at the upcoming Quest release, which is Quest 20 Orphic. This preset collection comes out as part of our Quest subscription series, and that'll be out on the 1st of October, so a few days away, but we'll be getting a sneaky peek at that preset collection. It is a dark and brooding set created by Chris, so if you love your dark and moody edits, you're going to fall in love with this preset collection. And we'll be taking a look at the set. We've got three color presets, one black and white, two creative profiles, and we've also got some AI tools in there, including a very magical mist tool, so more on that when we start editing. But of course, it's a live stream, so that means we're going to be giving away a pre-release copy of Quest 20 Orphic to someone that's tuned in live and interacting in the chat as we go through the stream. So if you're here, jump in the chat, say hello, make sure you comment as we go through the stream, and we'll be choosing someone to win a pre-release copy of Orphic at the end of this stream. So good reason to be here. I can see we've got a few people on already. So Orphic is a Quest release, so that's part of our Quest subscription series. So Quest, for anyone that doesn't know, is $8 per month, and as part of your membership you get access to download a new preset collection each and every month, which we release on the 1st of the month. And for your $8 you get that collection as part of that price, so it's free to download. You also get access to a 30% discount off our regular Archipelago presets, and you get access to the archive store of all the previous Quest sets, which you can purchase at a special membership price. So incredible membership as part of Quest. If you want to find out more, if you go to archipelagoquest.com after this stream, the link's in the description. You'll be able to check that out. And if you subscribe now, you can get hold of Quest 19 Elements, which is this month's current set. And then on the 1st of next month, Quest 20 Orphic will be released to our subscribers. So not only that, it's another exciting day today, because we also released our much anticipated Archipelago AI toolset. I know that's been mentioned a couple of times in the chat already. So I know a lot of people were patiently waiting. A few people were impatiently waiting. Troy, I'm looking at you. Looking at you, Troy. But that is now available. So if you are a newsletter subscriber, we've actually sent out the AI toolset about 2 hours ago to our newsletter subscribers. That's a free preset collection to download. It uses the brand new AI functionality, the artificial intelligence of Lightroom, where it can understand where a subject is, where the sky is, and it's a set of tools which apply to things like the subject, to the sky, to the background, and they're really diverse, and they are fantastic to help you in the editing process. I'll showcase those presets as we go through as well. So if you are a subscriber to the newsletter already, the Archipelago Presets newsletter, you will be able to download that. It'll be waiting in your inbox. But don't worry if you aren't already subscribed, you can go ahead and subscribe now. And as soon as you subscribe and you confirm your subscription, we'll send that set over to you for free as well. So that set was developed by myself, Richard, and Chris. We worked together to create a collection of tools to use on your images that utilize the new AI functionality. So I can see Troy saying, not being patient yet. You're all right. You're just excited. It's all good. So we created a collection of tools that you can use to help to enhance your image and achieve the look that you want. You can use those in collaboration with any of the other presets. Like I said, I'll show a little bit of those in a moment, but they're fantastic tools. Since we've developed them, I've used them on every single collection of images I've shot. Pretty much every image I've used at least a couple of those tools, so they've become a core part of my workflow, and I'm sure they will for yours as well. I know there's been some great feedback already just in the couple of hours that those have been live. So we'll dive in and start editing shortly. If you just jump in the chat and say hello. I can see we've got quite a few people on here. Sarah's on, Emily's on, Alessio, we've got Ray on as well. Welcome. Joni says, can't wait to see the Mist AI. Yes, I love that. It's a very, very clever and interesting preset. Just the preset I've needed, says Andrew. It's quite chilly here in the UK now. Definitely feel autumn creeping in, so I've got a nice cup of tea. Lauren, did you make a tea? Looking forward to this set, says Mark. Taylor says the tools are so dang helpful, it's unreal. Yes, absolutely. MK's on, howdy. Yeah, don't forget about those tools, get them downloaded. Nice, Lauren's got a T as well. Wonderful. So we've got 10 incredible images, as always, that we'll be editing with today. So as you can see, we've got these beautiful photos. We'll go through, I'll showcase the upcoming Quest 20 Orphic preset collection, showcase the tools that come with that as well. We'll go through and edit all of these images. And if you have any questions as we go through, do let me know in the chat. We'll try and get those answered. But just let me know what you think as we go through and edit these images. I'll showcase those presets. We'll also take a look at the AI tools for a few of these as well, so you can see what they have to offer. And as we go through, you're going to see the photographer's name up in the top left, and also the EXIF data there. Alrighty, so let's dive in. Let's take a look at these presets. Let's walk through the set first, and then we'll go ahead and edit with them. So like I said, this is Quest 20. This is part of our Quest subscription series. If you have been a subscriber for a while, you have now got a huge collection of incredible presets, super diverse, amazing tools. We've got things like lens effects, dust and scratches, prism effects. If you've been a subscriber since the start, you are going to have a huge collection of stuff to go at. And now we've got another one to add that to that collection that comes out on the 1st of October, and that is Quest 20 Orphic. So like I said, Orphic is a dark and moody dream. We have the 3 color presets, 1 black and white, 2 creative profiles, and then 3 AI tools. So let's go ahead and edit this image. I'll walk through the set and then we'll kind of go through the rest of the images in this. So let's start off by just increasing the exposure a little bit here. Gorgeous photo here from Jessica. I love this with the light coming in. Looks like a car park, and we've got some light coming in through the windows at the back there. And I'm sure this model was wearing this t-shirt specifically for me. I'm sure. All right, so I'm going to warm this up a little bit. Somewhere around there looks good. And let's take a look at the preset. So AQ21 Orphic. And look at that for a transformation. So what's really interesting about these presets is that they actually have the AI functionality built into these presets. So if I hover over here, you can see that it's actually going to apply a look to the image, but it's also going to apply a mask which affects both the subject and the background. So that's AQ21 Orphic. Lovely cool tones, very, very moody. Love what it does to this photo. AQ22, so this is a bit of a warmer preset. It still retains a lot of the colors, so we can still see some blues in the denim jeans down here. But we have a nice rich warm tone coming in through the highlights. And then we have AQ23, which is a real warm push. It desaturates some of the colors, so it's an overall warm, glowy look. So nice variety there in the 3 color presets, cool through to warm. And then we have an amazing black and white, which is AQ24, and we have this gorgeous amount of contrast, and this has got a really subtle blue tone in it as well. So again, adds to that mood and definitely suits the color preset. So there we go. That's Quest 21, Quest 22, Quest 23, and Quest 24. So let's go ahead and apply AQ21 on this image. And of course, that's going to apply the creative profile. So in this case, that is the Orphic profile, which is set to 100 as default. We can then decrease or increase that profile. So this actually affects the contrast levels in the photo without affecting the saturation. So if I drag it to the left, we're going to reduce the contrast. And if we drag it to the right, we're going to increase that. So we can go for a little bit more of a punchy look. But unlike just using the contrast slider down here, it's not going to add more saturation to the image. Things like skin tones aren't going to shift, that kind of thing. So we can just very quickly dial this into the amount of punch, the amount of contrast that we want. So for this, I'm going to dial it up a little bit, somewhere around there. Bring the exposure up a tiny touch. And that's looking lovely to me. So straight away, you can see there's before and there's after. That's with AQ21. And if I jump in the mask profile before we show you anything else, you can see there's actually several masks that have been applied to this image just as part of the default preset. So that's how this achieves this really beautiful moody look. We have different masks that affect the background, the subject. We've got diffusions, we've got vignettes, and compensation for exposure in there as well. So lots of things happening as part of the actual preset, but you can go a bit further than that with the tools that are included. So you can see down here we have a little crescent moon, and this is going to push the darkening of the background even further. So you can see that's without and that's with. So that's just the preset, and this is with the moon preset applied. And what's great about this is if we click on it, of course, we've got the amount slider at the top left. We can drag that to the left to reduce that effect and to the right to increase it. So we can really push this as far as we like. Just going to undo that for now. And then below that we have the sun preset. And what this does is removes that darkening effect from the background to create a more natural look. So this is a little bit more of a natural look, a balance between the background and the subject versus the default preset versus the moon, which darkens even further. So you've got loads of variety, lots of ability to dial this in to how you like it. So for this, I'm going to leave it as the default. And then at the very bottom, we have an incredibly exciting preset, which is this little swirling symbol. This is the mist preset, and this again uses the AI functionality, and it applies a mist-like effect to the background of the image. So if I go ahead and hover over this, you can see that it's a really dramatic effect, and it adds this amazing mistiness to the top of the image without affecting the subject. And again, we've got the amount slider, so we can go ahead and dial this in exactly how we want it. So for this image, I'm going to have the mist effect. I'm going to use this I'm going to set it around about there, so about 42%. So it just looks like a little bit of like a soft diffusion kind of glow through the windows there. But if you want a more pronounced effect, of course, you can just increase or decrease that. So now that I've got that, and I'm going to take a look at using the moon tool just to darken the background a little bit more. I'm going to find a little bit of a balance between those two. So I think somewhere around there looks really good to me. So again, here's before and here's after, and that is using AQ21 Orphic. We've increased the profile for a little bit more punch. We've used the crescent moon to darken the background, and then we've used the mist preset to add that dreamy, misty, magical effect in the background. Super, super cool. Obviously, because these are all part of the mask layers, you can go in and independently adjust these. You know, you could go into the mist effect, and you can move up and down. You can set where the vignette is. You can, you know, increase or decrease each of these. So really, really customizable, but absolutely amazing just from a couple of clicks and a couple of slides on the adjusters, and we've got a result like that. So here is your side-by-side, and I'll go ahead and zoom in and show you a little bit of the details of the image there as well. Sarah says, I'm so excited for the mist. Oh yeah. Taylor says, I love these. Mark says, will the profile slider work well with other presets? Yes, it absolutely will. So the profile, obviously you can mix and match these. So if you want to use a preset from another collection and you just want to use the Orphic profile to add that contrasty punch, you can just go into the profile browser and choose that and mix and match. Definitely worth having to play around with. Aubrey says, dang, you keep pushing the ability of Lightroom and blowing my mind. Yes, Aubrey, that's what it's all about. Great to see you on the stream again, Aubrey. I know you're a regular. Joni says, can't wait to use the mist. And Andrew says, very cool. Love it. Thank you, everyone. All right, so that's the first image done. In fact, what we'll do while we're on that image still, I'm going to show anyone that hasn't yet downloaded the AI toolset. I'll just show a couple of the presets that are in this. Just so you got a bit of an idea. Like I said, this is a free preset collection exclusively for our newsletter subscribers. So if you want to subscribe to the Archipelago newsletter, you will get this preset collection emailed to you for free. So we released this a couple of hours ago, and I know a few people have already downloaded how to play with it. So in here, we have some more of those AI-driven presets. Basically, they can understand where the subject is in the scene, they can understand where the background is, where the sky is, things like that. So we've created a collection that can utilize those of diverse tools that allow you to tweak and drive the image however you want in terms of the edit, including things that can adjust the sky, the subject, and all that kind of stuff. So as you can see, we've got Subject Shadow Plus. So that's just going to lift up the shadows on the subject. So we could use this in this image. We could go ahead and apply that. And again, with the slider, we can just set that exactly where we want. So let's have a little bit of that. It's going to lift up the shadows in the subject, nice and simple. We've then got Subject Sharpen. So if I go ahead and zoom in on here, again, we've got the slider, so this is at 0, this is at 200, so you can just pull a little bit more detail out of your subject in the scene really easily without over sharpening the whole scene, just by applying the subject sharpen and then adjusting the amount slider. We've got subject soften. Now it's not going to be super easy to see on this because the subject's a little bit further away, a little bit smaller in the scene, but I'll show you on one of the other images that we've got to edit later on. It's a really good tool for softening up the skin of a subject without losing detail in things like the eyes and those kinds of things. So it keeps the sharpness there. But it can soften up the skin without needing to go and do frequency separation or use brushes and things like that. So very, very clever. I'll show you that on another one. We then have skin hue minus and skin hue plus. So if you ever find that you love the edit you've got, but the skin tones just aren't quite right, obviously you can jump into the HSL panel and play around, but this becomes much easier with the skin hue minus and plus tool. Again, it's going to select a subject and it's just going to adjust the skin tones. So skin hue minus will push the skin tones more towards the orange side, orangey yellow side, and the skin hue plus will push more towards the magenta side. And again, because we have the adjusters, you can set exactly how much or how little that is, so you can dial in those skin tones to exactly how you want them. We've then got Sky Saver. Now, we've not got sky in this particular scene, but the Sky Saver will essentially bring back detail in an overexposed sky. So it's going to reduce the exposure and bring back some of the color and the detail in the sky. We've also got the Sky Detail, which brings in a lot more of the kind of contrast and kind of clarity in the sky. So if you've got a sky with really dramatic clouds and you want to pull those out, the Sky Detail allows it to do that. It just selects the sky and then brings more of that clarity and contrast into the sky. We have Sky Blue, so if you're using a preset that's really warm and you're losing the blue of the sky, it's shifting across to being a little bit more green or warm toned, and you want to have the blue, Sky Blue just pushes that kind of sky color back to being a little bit more blue. We've then got Hazy Light, and this just affects the lighter areas of the image and just adds in that nice hazy glow. So this is really nice for just giving a little bit of a softer look. You can see what it's doing on this image here just with one click. It's only affecting the highlights in the scene and not affecting the subject. We then have watercolor. This reduces the contrast in the background and adds more saturation. Again, this can be really nice for bringing some color back into a scene or for creating a little bit more of a light and airy look. And then we have the gold reflector and the silver reflector. So if you use a reflector when you're shooting with models, what this basically does is bounces light onto the model. And if you use a gold reflector, that light will be gold, and it reduces the exposure in the background to mimic the look of a gold reflector. So that works super, super well. And then the silver reflector is the same, but with a neutral silver tone instead of the warm tone in. So for this, if we wanted to use the gold reflector, we could go ahead and just bring that down a little bit. So just bringing a little bit of the gold reflection in, so warming up the subject and just reducing the exposure in the background. So super amazing, really useful tools. Like I said, I've been using these on absolutely everything since I got them. Incredibly useful, and they work with all of our other presets as well. I love the AI toolset. I use them on basically every session now. Love that. I know a few people got an early access copy of the AI toolset, tuned into a live stream a couple of weeks ago. So a couple of people have had that for a little while, but everyone else, you can download it when you subscribe to our newsletter. So I'll showcase those tools in some of the other edits as we go through and edit the rest of these images. If you just let me know which image you want to see edited next, we've got a little number up in the top left of the thumbnail. So image 2 through to 10, if you let me know which one you want to see next, we'll go ahead and edit those next and then kind of work through the rest of these images through the stream. As a reminder for anyone just joining, we are going to be giving away a pre-release copy of Orphic presets at the end of the stream. You just need to interact in the chat as we go through the stream. I'll be choosing someone to win a pre-release copy of Orphic at the end. All right, so we have got a few image selections coming in. 8 and 9 seem quite popular, so we'll go ahead and do 8 next, and then we'll do 9. Keep throwing those in there for me. Thank you very much. Alrighty, so this image here from Irvin. Love this, really, really gorgeous image. It almost looks a little bit like a painting, even just straight out of camera. Very, very pretty photo. So I'm going to go ahead and bring up the exposure just a little bit. I think the white balance is looking pretty good. Maybe just a little bit warmer. and a little bit less magenta. Let's give that one a whirl. So AQ21. So you can see when I hover over the preset on a new image, it takes a second for it to apply the AI mask. So as you hover over it, it's just going to figure out where the subject is and then go ahead and apply the AI mask. So you'll sort of see the effect applied and then the masks apply sort of a second later. But once it's figured out where those are, it then renders that for the rest of the preset. So that's AQ21, AQ22, and AQ23. And of course the black and white, which is AQ24. So I think I love the look of 3 on this overly warm look. It just reduces a lot of those other color tones in the image so they're a bit more subtle and pushes the warmth. Ooh, Tutu love. Is that saying AQ22? Is that what that one? Is that the one you love? This one. We could do that. Yeah, we could go for that. AQ22. I think that's what Kim's asking for. And I think Sarah says 2 on this one as well. Let's go for that then. So AQ22, we've got that nice neutral look with the warm toning pushing into the highlights. Again, we've got the Orphic profile, so let's have a look. I'm probably going to bring that down a little bit just so we can bring a little bit more detail back, a little bit less contrast. So I think somewhere around there for the exposure is looking good. All right, so do I want to use the crescent moon? Yeah, maybe a bit. I think this is looking really good. I'm going to bring this back down using the preset amount slider at the top left. So somewhere around there. So now we've got a real nice balance between the background being a little bit darker and the subjects popping out a little bit. Let's see. Go ahead and use subject sharpen. Just going to back that off a tiny little bit just to bring a bit more detail in. And I'll show you on this. I probably won't use these tools necessarily in this image, but let's have a quick look. I'll show you what a sky saver does. So this is Sky Saver. So you can see with this image, it's just bringing back a little bit of that color into the sky. And if we apply it, you can go all the way up to 200. So you can see we go from having a fairly sort of white plain sky to actually bringing some of that color back into the sky. So we could go ahead and use that on this. Now there's no detail in there. It doesn't look like there's any clouds or anything. So the sky detail is not going to do too much on this image. But if we wanted to make this a little bit more blue, you could go ahead and use the sky blue tool. You can see what that's doing there. But I like that as it is. I think hazy light could be a good one on this one. So we can kind of create a little bit more of a painterly effect to the background by just making the light a little bit softer. So this is that set at 0. This is it set at 200. I'll probably just go for something a little bit more subtle. So maybe about there, 62. So it just softens up the background a little bit there. We could use watercolor, but that's actually going to offset the effect of Orphic with the darkening in the background. So I'm not going to do that. I think this looks really good as it is. Probably wouldn't do much else with it. Yeah, I think that looks good as it is. Here's before and here's after, and that's with AQ20 preset 2. We've decreased the Orphic profile to bring a little bit less contrast in the scene. We've used the crescent moon to darken the background down, and then we used hazy light from the AI toolset to just soften up the background, and the sky saver to bring a bit of color back into the sky there. So again, here's the side-by-side. Gorgeous transformation. Skin tones looking lovely. I love what it's done with the blues down here. And then of course, that gorgeous soft warmth in the background, and just the kind of softness to the foliage there as well. This is insane. Can't wait. Next editing session. Yes. Oh man, October is going to be amazing. These presets are going to be so good. I can't wait. Yes, as a reminder, these come out on the 1st of October as part of our Quest subscription series. So if you are a member of Quest, you will get to download these on the 1st of October. But like I said, we'll be giving away a pre-release copy, so you could get it earlier. Time saver, says Shutter Freak. Loving the tone. Amazing. Thank you so much, everyone. Aubrey says this set transforms it into a cinematic scene instantly. Love that. All right, so image number 9 was the next choice, and then I'm sure I saw 3 and 5 and 7. Yeah, we'll do 9, then we'll do 3, 5, 7. Lovely stuff. So image number 9 next. Love this photo. Super nice portrait. Just going to bring the exposure up a little tiny bit here. And let's take a look at the white balance. I'm going to bring the white balance over to the cool side just a tiny little bit. And I think, yeah, I think the tint's looking okay actually. All right, let's take a look at the Orphic presets. AQ21 Orphic. Love that. Love the kind of blue toning and the mood we're bringing into this. AQ22. That's looking incredible as well. Definitely like the warm tones. Matches the hat here as well. And then AQ23, and actually 3 is definitely the one. I love the brown toning that we're getting in the background, the warmth that's sort of matching the hat there. So let's bring the exposure up just a tiny little bit. I think maybe about there. Let's play with the profile. Again, I think with this we could bring the profile down a little bit, just so we've got a little bit less contrast. We've got quite harsh light coming from the side. And I think for this one, I would be tempted to use the sun preset, which is going to bring the background up just a little bit. So again, we can find balance of that with the amount slider. So I think somewhere around there. I think that suits this image a little bit more than something super dark in the background. Love that. So if we go ahead and zoom in, what I'll do actually on this, I'm going to go ahead and turn the grain off just so that I can show you the subject soften tool. So if you see here, this is still, obviously the subject is still a little bit smaller in the scene, but if you take a look, subject soften, that's with it set at the default position of 100, and that's it off. So it keeps the sharpness in the eyes and all the areas that we need the detail, but just softens up the skin. And of course we can dial that with the amount slider here. So I'd go for something, again, subtle is usually better. Somewhere around 40 looks really good to me. So just a little bit softening into the skin, but we still have really nice sharpness in all of the important areas of the subject. And I'm going to go for watercolor on this as well. So what you'll see with watercolor is it essentially reduces the contrast in the background. So this is it set to 0 and this is it set to 200. You can see it just softens up the toning, reduces the contrast, and brings a little bit more saturation. So a tiny little bit more pop of color in there. And again, I think that looks really nice, incredibly painterly. So yeah, that's looking very good to me. Here's the before, here's after, and there's the side by side. And again, that's AQ23 Orphic profile reduced. We've used the sun preset to bring the background back up to being a little bit lighter, and then we've used subject to soften up the skin tones. Soften up the skin detail, and then we've used watercolor to decrease the contrast in the background and create that soft, painterly look. Lisa said, are all the tools in Lightroom also available in Adobe Camera Raw? Yes, they are. Adobe Camera Raw and Lightroom are basically the same app now. It's just ACR is for Photoshop. When you open a preset in Photoshop, it uses ACR, but it's the same functionality. So if you've got the latest versions of Adobe Camera Raw or Lightroom, you're going to get this functionality in there. So these presets will work in either. Lisa says, wow, I may need to go back to Lightroom. Yeah, only if you like to. If you prefer Adobe Camera Raw, you are good to go. You're fine. I live for the brown and blues. Iowa is so green. One day I will travel more. Love that. Emily says she can never choose too many different copies of images edited in different ways. Yeah, that can sometimes be a problem. All right, so that's 3 down. I think 5 was the next choice, and then 7. So let's do 5 and then 7. So this one from Francesco. Gorgeous portrait, really tight shot here of this couple. So I think exposure is looking really good, and I actually think white balance is pretty much bang on. I probably wouldn't change either of those. It's looking lovely. So let's just take a look at the presets on these as they are. AQ21. Looking incredible. AQ22. And AQ23. Now it's either between, I think it's 1 because I like what it's doing with the blue toning, but I'll probably just increase the temperature just so that the skin tones are looking spot on. I'm going to bring the exposure up just a tiny little bit. Let's have a play with the profile. I think I'm going to leave the profile set to the default position of 100. And then again, if we take a look at the crescent moon, there's not much of a background here. We're very tightly cropped on the subjects, but you can see what that does if we use the the moon versus the sun. The mist profile is not going to do a whole lot here because I've only got this section of the background there, so you just see that kind of soften up if you wanted to, but I quite like a little bit of this horizon line, so I'm not going to use that on this particular image. But let's have a look and see if we want to use any of the AI tools from the free AI toolset. So subject shadow plus, we could do that. I'm going to bring it back down. Just going to have a little bit of that, maybe about there, and then I can bring the exposure back down a tiny touch. We can go for subject soften. So again, this is a good example. So if I zoom in on the subject here, subject soften, if I back that off, that's it at 0 and that's it at 200. And you can see that it still retains that nice detail in the eyelashes, but just softens up the skin. So again, subtle is usually better. So I'm going to go for something around there, 24. So just a little bit of softening, just kind of add that glow to the skin. Let's have a look. Hazy light. That's looking quite nice actually. It just kind of softens up this bright light that's coming in on the right hand side. So that's it at 0, that's it at 200, just somewhere between the two. I think maybe, yeah, leaving the default of 100 just softens this up a little bit. We could probably do Sky Saver just to bring that down a tiny touch. It's not doing a whole lot because obviously, again, there's not much of the sky there, but it's doing a little bit just to bring back some of that color above the horizon line, so just that orange glow there. And yeah, I think watercolor could work well here as well. So you can see that's just softening the contrast in the sky as well. So we're just kind of bringing back some of that. It's a bit of a hot spot there, so we're just kind of balancing that out a little bit. So I think somewhere around there looks really nice. Here's the before. And here's after. Lovely mood. Here's the side-by-side comparison. I love the level of contrast that you get with Orphic. It's sort of punchy, but also soft, slightly cinematic, very moody. And of course, we use the AI tools here just to kind of push that edit just a little bit further, retaining some details in the sky, balancing the subject out with the background as well. Lovely, lovely image from Francesco. Let's see what everyone's saying. Alrighty, so image number 7 was the next choice. Here we go. So this one by Shay. Love this photo. Lovely colors. Love this mountainous scene here as well. So I think exposure is looking good on here. Maybe just a tiny little bit of an increase. And I think the white balance is looking good as well. Maybe just a tiny touch warmer. And let's take a look at AQ21. Again, you can see how it just takes a second for it to apply that effect. And now we get that gorgeous mood. AQ22, AQ23, and the black and white, which is AQ24. I mean, if I was doing color, I would go for AQ22, but I think I'm going to go ahead and use the black and white on this one. So again, we've got the Orphic black and white profile, so this is going to add that level of contrast, so we can go for something a little bit more punchy. I'm going to go into lens corrections because I think there's quite a lot of vignette from the lens. I'm just going to correct that and just bring a little bit of the vignette back. And then let's take a look. So we've got the crescent moon, which I think looks lovely on here. Just brings that gorgeous mood, just darkens down the background. And then let's take a look at using the mist on this one. I think this is going to look quite interesting. So I'm going to go for the mist. What I'm going to do with this though is I'm going to select the actual mist mask, and then we've got the gradient here, and I can just move this into the position that I want it. So I'm going to go a bit higher based on where the subjects are. I want a little bit of detail in this foliage behind them. And I'm also going to use the amount slider over here to just dial that back a little bit. So this is it up to 200. This is it down at 0. I'm going to go for somewhere between the two. So just a little bit of that glowy, misty mood. I think there. So I've set that to 72 on the amount and just moved the graduated filter further up in the image. So let's take a look. I'm going to use watercolor, I think, as well. That's just going to, again, reduce that contrast level in the background, just kind of create a little bit more of a softer look to it. And I don't think I need to use anything else. Let's have a quick look at the subject details. Yeah, it's looking good to me. And I love the level of grain that you get with this as well. So here's before and here's after, and that's with AQ24, the black and white preset. We've increased the Orphic black and white profile. We've used the crescent moon to darken down the background. We've used watercolor to soften that up. And then we used the amazing mist preset, just adjusted the position of it and changed the intensity to suit this particular image. And it's quite an amazing transformation. We still have the mountains in the background, but now we have this lovely soft glowiness, just adding a little bit of mystique and mood. Mystique, get it? And we've also popped the subjects out nicely here as well. So love this. Lee says, boom. Yes. What game changer, says Taylor. Mic drop, says Chris. Love it. Amazing response. Yeva says, Mist is about to become my whole aesthetic, lol. Yeah, it's definitely one of those tools. You're not going to use it on everything, you know, it's something that you're going to use on a particular image. But if you've got that one image where the mist is going to add to it, it's just going to create something incredibly impressive, artistic, dramatic, moody. So, you know, you might have one or two images in a shoot that's just going to add that incredible pop to the images. It's just an amazing, amazing tool. MK says, I am such a sucker for black and white edits. Well, you're going to love this black and white preset. It is amazing. All right, so we've got image number 2, image number 3, 4, 6, and 10 left to do. So let me know what you want to see next. I'm just going to have a quick scroll and see if anyone's suggested anything further up. Don't think so. So let me know in the chat what image you want to see next. So we got a question in the chat asking, how do I get the AI tools? Are they with the October preset set? So you can see that Lauren's just dropped a link in the chat there. What you need to do is subscribe to the Archipelago Presets newsletter. We sent this out to all of our newsletter subscribers a couple of hours ago, but if you subscribe now, we will be sending this out to you as well. So once you've subscribed and confirmed your subscription, you'll get access to download the AI toolset for free as our gift to you as a thank you for subscribing to the newsletter. And just top tip as well, don't unsubscribe, because this isn't the only thing we're going to be giving away through the newsletter. There will be more down the line, so definitely stay subscribed and we will just give those out as we go along the way. So the AI toolset, you'll be able to download that for free if you are a newsletter subscriber. Just follow the link and sign up to the newsletter and you can get those. And then, of course, the Quest 20 presets will be part of the Quest subscription series. You can subscribe for $8 a month. You get access to a new preset collection every month, which you can download for free as part of your membership. And on top of that, you also get 30% discount on Archipelago presets all year round, so you don't need to wait for a sale. And you get access to the archive of presets that were released previous to your Quest subscription, and they're at a special membership price. So thank you very much for the question, and welcome to the stream. All right, so I'm sure we had a couple of people choosing images. I saw number 6. Number 2 was also selected as well. So let's go for 6 next, then 2, and then I think Troy picked 3. So we'll do, yeah, let's do 6, which is this one over here. This is another one from Francesco. So the first thing we need to do here is just bring the exposure up quite a bit. So this was obviously shot a little bit later. Looks like it's the last of the light. So I'm going to bring this up a decent amount. I'm going to bring the temperature up a little bit here as well, and just bring the tint back towards the green side a little bit. Yeah, that's looking good to me. Okay, let's take a look at the presets and then we'll have a look at using some of the AI tools for this as well. So look at that incredible transformation. That's AQ21. Get that gorgeous, cool toning. Love what it's doing to the greens here. Skin tone's looking incredible as well. AQ22. AQ23. And of course the black and white again, AQ24. The black and white looks amazing on this one, but I think I would go with AQ22 on this. Let's take a look at the profile. So I think, yeah, nice little extra push in the contrast using the Orphic profile. Somewhere around there. We've got the crescent moon. I don't think I'm going to use that necessarily on this, and I don't want to brighten it up to that level because I want to keep the mood that we're getting from here. So we've got a couple of options. We could go ahead and try and retain some of the sky that we can see in the unedited image, or we could go the other way and go for the misty mood and kind of push a bit of a different look. So I think I would be initially drawn, just because the sky looked quite interesting on the original image, to go ahead and do Sky Saver, which we can bring up, bring a little bit of that back. We could have a look at sky detail, but I think that's gonna be too punchy. Yeah. Sky blue. No, I want to keep the warmth that's in the sky, so I don't want to use sky blue. I think that looks nice as it is. What we could do though potentially is use silver reflector, and that's going to bounce light onto the subjects, mimicking a silver reflector. And obviously the effect there also brings the sky exposure down a little bit as well. I'm going to leave that at the default of 100. I think that looks really nice. Don't want to go too far because I want to retain kind of a little bit of that original look. I'm just going to go a little tiny bit darker, and then we can go ahead and use the subject shadow plus. Again, I want to be quite subtle with this, so maybe somewhere around there, and then let's boost the contrast even more using the Orphic profile. So I think somewhere around there looks really good to me. So here's before and here's after. Obviously, big increase in the exposure because quite an underexposed image, but you can see that we've managed to save the sky. That kind of looks very neutral to how it did on the unedited image, but we've lifted all the detail in the subjects. Got that nice amount of vignette here where we're darkening the bottom. We could go in and dial these in, so you can see, you know, we've got like diffuse and we've got the vignettes. We wanted to move the position of this. We could go ahead and do that. So like I say, you know, they're very customizable. Have a play around with these. You can obviously use the amount slider on each layer to determine exactly where you want it to be. So lots and lots of control with this. But there's the side-by-side, quite a big transformation on that image. That Sky Saver worked chef's kiss. Yes, works incredibly well. All four are perfect on this image, says Taylor. Yep. Helps that Francesco's image is absolutely gorgeous, but yeah, all four presets work really well on this. Huge transformation, says Aubrey. This edit is gorgeous, says Taylor. And woo, says Troy. Thank you, Troy. Love the energy. All right, let's start moving through these then. So image number 2 next, and then 3, and then we'll just go ahead and do 4 and then 10. So image number 2. This one here from Adita, I love this photo. It has that kind of editorial feel to it. Love this kind of positioning with the subject holding this amazing little bit of kind of, it looks like a little dried flower or grass of some type. Gorgeous photo here from Adita. I think the exposure is looking pretty good, maybe just a tiny little bit of an increase, but I think the white balance is spot on, so I'm going to leave that there. AQ21. Looking very nice. AQ22, AQ23, and the black and white AQ24. If I was going color, I would go AQ21, and I would maybe just increase the warmth a tiny little bit. And I'm going to bring the Orphic profile all the way back to 0 so that we can kind of get a little bit of a softer, less contrasty look. I'm going to go into lens corrections. And let's correct the lens so we don't have such a heavy vignette. Let's have a quick look at what we want to do. So I don't think I want to use the moon profile. I would be tempted to maybe use the sun so that we can just bring back a little bit more of the detail in the background. And I'm going to use watercolor because that's going to bring a little bit more saturation. So this is watercolor set to 0. This is just the preset. And then if we increase that, you can see it just adds that lovely painterly watercolor type effect where we just bring a little bit of the saturation back in, and we just kind of decrease the contrast, which lifts the shadows and reduces the highlights. So we go from something where we have kind of these hot spots of highlights here and then quite dark shadows in other areas, to having something that's really nicely balanced. We kind of reduce the highlights, we bring up the shadows, and we boost the color in the background, which I think for this looks really nice. Now that we've got that balanced, I could go ahead and bring the Orphic profile back up to add a little bit of that contrast. So here's looking good. I don't think we need to use, although, hello, silver reflector, that could work really well. So I'm gonna go for something, again, relatively subtle. So it's just lifting the shadows on the subject, bouncing the light onto the subject there and reducing the background, so we get a little bit more of that kind of pop. So you can see with this, we're going for something that's a little bit less moody, not quite as dramatic, but we're kind of pushing it to something a little bit softer. So they're really flexible, these presets. You can kind of go a few different ways. I wouldn't use the mist on this. I don't think it suits this particular image. It's a very sort of like warm looking image, a bit sunny kind of looking, and I quite like the amount of detail we've got in the background, so I don't want to lose that too much, but I think softening it up definitely helps. We can do that with the hazy light here as well. So again, I'm just going to set that to about 55. Let's zoom in on the subject. I'm going to go for subject sharpen, so you can see that makes a big difference. This is at 0, this is at 200, and that's really going to help to draw the eye to the subject. Yeah, I'm going to set that to 110, so relatively high, but we're just adding a good amount of sharpness to the subject there. And again, that doesn't affect the background at all. And I don't think we need to change the hue of the skin or anything like that. Obviously, there's not much sky, so we don't need to do anything else with those. But I think that looks super nice. So here is before, and here's after, and that's using AQ21. We've reduced the Orphic profile. We corrected the vignette and the distortion on the lens. We used the sun preset to bring back the illumination of the background, and then we've used watercolor, silver reflector, and the subject sharpen from the AI toolset. So there is the side-by-side comparison. I'll go ahead and zoom in and show you the details of the subject there. Look, so we can see that sharpened subject has just brought back a good amount of detail there in the subject's face. And then I really love what the watercolor preset is doing to the background, and of course that gorgeous Orphic toning from AQ21. Edita's on here. Gorgeous image editor. Thank you so much for submitting this through to us. Edita says Lightroom features are getting insane. Yes, they are. Lightroom is, yeah, it's incredible. Adobe have done some fantastic updates in the last year, couple of years. And of course, we take advantage of those updates and bring those into the tools and the presets that we create for you. You make your lives easier, but also help to give you that kind of creative flair. And yeah, very, very impressive. Wow, so beautiful, says Lauren. Stunning image, says Chris. Skin tone is lush, says Lise. All right, so image number 3, image number 4, image number 10. Let's go ahead and rattle through these. So probably not a whole lot to do with this. This one's by Heather. Gorgeous photo. I love how the subjects are sort of pressed into the flowers on the wall here. And obviously we're using some type of prism. Love what it's doing to this image. It doesn't need a whole lot doing to it, maybe just a tiny little exposure bump, but really not much. I think the white balance is looking good. Maybe just back that off a tiny bit so we can kind of bring a bit more green back into foliage. So AQ21, give it a second to figure out where the subjects are. Oh, that's looking very, very cool. AQ22, AQ23, and the black and white AQ24. I think it has to be one for this. I love the cool toning. Let's have a look at I quite like the punchy, contrasty look, and I love what it's done to the flowers, just the saturation that we get into those flowers there and the kind of way it's rendering the colors. That's looking amazing. Let's take a look. I don't want to darken it anymore because I think we've got quite a dramatic look already, but I don't think I want to lighten it too much. So kind of want to go for somewhere between the two. So I'm going to use the sun preset just to bring a little bit back, but I'm going to go around about 140, which just keeps it slightly darker. So again, here's before and here's after. And let's take a look at the AI tool set. I think, yeah, probably the only one that I think I would use is maybe watercolor, just to kind of bring a little bit of saturation to the foliage and the flowers, and then I'm going to use the Orphic profile just to boost that contrast. So that's looking really nice. Maybe a tiny little boost in the warmth. And Silver Reflector, I have to say. So Silver Reflector was created by Richard, and Silver Reflector I've used on almost every single image since Richard made it. It's absolutely amazing. Just does an incredible job of just lifting up the subject and darkening down the background. I mean, look at that. That's Silver Reflector at 0, and this is it as we increase it. It's just amazing, amazing tool. So I use this on just about every image. So let's go ahead and slap it on here as well. Yep, I think that looks good to me. So here's before, here's after. Gorgeous image from Heather. There's the side-by-side. I just love the cool toning. I love what it's doing to the oranges and the bow tie here, the colors and the flowers, the level of contrast that we've got. Super, super nice. Juniper says, obsessed with this image. Yes, absolutely. Shutter Freak says that's freaking insane or freaking fantastic. Love that. Stunning, says Joni. All right, so image number 4. This one by Anna. I love this. Another editorial sort of style portrait here. I love the pose from the subject and this fabric backdrop we have here as well. I'm just going to go ahead and crop this a tiny little bit just so we can remove the little bit of sky at the top. I think this needs a good boost in warmth just to kind of get the skin tones looking where they should be. Tiny little exposure bump. I'm maybe going to do a lens correction on this one as well, and then just bring the vignette back a tiny little bit. Yep, somewhere around there looks good. All right, let's take a look at AQ21. Love that. Incredible. AQ22. That's looking really good. I love how rich that red color in the backdrop is with AQ22. And AQ23. They're both looking really good, actually. AQ24, which is black and white. I don't think I'm going to go black and white because I think the color in this is just such a big part of the image. So I'm probably going to go AQ22. And let's have a look. Yeah, I'm going to decrease the Orphic profile just a little bit. And I'm going to use the sun tool, but I'm going to go all the way back over here so that it's still got a bit of a darker background. I love the color toning that we're getting in the fabric behind the subject. Let's have a quick look at the AI tools. I would probably go for sharpen on this just because it's looking relatively soft with the fabric that's over the top of the subject. So let's go ahead and check out the sharpening. So maybe around about there. So just a little bit. I think the skin tones are looking really, really nice. Again, if you needed to tweak those at all, you could use the skin hue. So skin hue plus is going to push it more towards magenta. So this is at 0, this is at 200. It's really subtle, so it gives you complete control to dial it however you like. So I'm going to increase this just a little bit so we can push a little bit more magenta into the skin tones here. That's looking very, very nice to me. And then I don't think I'm going to use... Oh yeah, we could use hazy light. So that's just, again, it's very subtle. If you just look at kind of the lighter areas of the image, it's just adding that little bit of dreaminess to it. So this is it at 0, this is it at 200. And actually I quite like it high like that. So I'm going to leave it at, yeah, let's crank it all the way to 200. And that's just softening up the background, adding that kind of dreamy, hazy light. And that to me looks gorgeous. Here's the side-by-side. Again, that's AQ20, preset number 2. Decrease the Orphic profile. We've lifted up the shadows in the background, but we still have that nice effect of the darkening of the background and the pronounced subject. We've used subject sharpen to bring a little bit of the detail back into the subject there. We use skin hue plus just to shift the skin hues, and hazy light just to add that little pop of soft dreaminess to the image as well. I'm about to be putting 22 on everything. Yes, AQ22 is an incredible preset. I think it's my favorite in this collection. It's so nice. I'm speechless, says Aubrey. Jaw dropped, says Kim. All right, so we're on to the last image. Of course, as a reminder, once we've edited this last image, we'll be announcing a winner of the pre-release copy of Quest 20 Orphic. So if you've been here interacting in the chat, you are in with a chance of winning Orphic, so definitely stick around. But let's go ahead and edit this last image. This one here by Jessica. Love this photo. Got a ballerina here. Looks like it's a car park. Love the way that it's framed. Really nice light here. So backlit, and then the subject. Very cool. So I'm going to go ahead and straighten the image up just a little bit. I'm going to go crop it down. Just going to position the subject towards the center of the frame here. I think that's going to look quite nice for this. Going to bring the exposure up a little bit. I'm probably going to go for quite a contrasty look on this. I think based on the silhouette of the subject, it would definitely benefit from having quite a contrasty edit. So let's take a look. AQ21 looking really nice. Those blue tones again. AQ22. AQ23. And AQ24. And I think it has to be black and white on this. I do really like the color presets. But I think just because of the dramatic kind of pose, I think the black and white is going to suit this really well. And I want to go for something really contrasty. So I'm going to crank the profile up, bring the exposure up. I'm not too concerned about losing the sky because I think I'm going to go ahead and use a couple of different tools with this. So let's take a look at the crescent moon. Yeah, that's looking cool. So that's just, again, bringing down the background a little bit. So I'm going to find balance there. Somewhere around there is looking good. And then I think for this, we've got to use the mist. I can see a few people saying it already. Look, black and white with the mist. It's going to look amazing. It is going to look amazing. Let's go for it. I mean, yeah, look at that. That looks absolutely incredible. All right, so let's go for it. So we're going to put the mist on here. I'm going to dive into the mask tool, select mist, and I'm going to do a couple of things, I think. So I'm going to choose the graduated filter, and I'm probably going to go for, I really like these arrows down here and the sort of stop. So I kind of want to make sure you can see those, but I'm going to go for a little bit more of a sharp gradient, I think. Maybe somewhere around there, and then let's play with the amount. I mean, let's just go for something pretty, yeah. I'm going to go for something fairly high, I think. Around about there. So I'm going to set it to 126 on the amount. And again, let's just have a quick play around with the graduated filter. So I think somewhere around there looks good. All right, let's do subject shadow plus. So we're just bringing back a little bit of the detail in the subject. I'm quite liking, although I was saying about the silhouette type look, I think because the subject's wearing a black outfit and we've got that kind of contrasty look with the black and white preset, I think we could actually afford to lift that, and then maybe, let's have a quick look. I'm probably going to go, yeah, silver reflector, I think. So again, this is just going to illuminate the subject a little bit more, darken the background, and then I can bring the exposure back down a tiny touch. I think there looks bang on to me. So here is before and here's after, and I would probably do, if this was my image, I'd probably do one more thing. I really like it like this, but I would probably go for a bit of a funky rotation, because I just think the way that the subject's positioned, it just looks incredibly cool like this. We've got these arrows here, the stop there, this amazing dreamy hazy misty light, I think it looks very cool like that, but I also like it when it's vertical like that as well. So again, there's before, there's after. That's with AQ24, the black and white preset. We've increased the Orphic black and white profile all the way up to add the contrast. Used a couple of tools from the AI tool set, so silver reflector, and we've also used the subject shadow plus just to bring back detail on the subject. And then of course we've got that incredible mist, which we've used to kind of create something very artistic, very dreamy. And I've just gone for a little bit of a rotation on the image for something a little bit more unique and interesting as well. Holy bleep, says Joni. Can't repeat that word, but obviously very excited by this edit. I just know how clients are going to be asking the photographers to bring the mist machines, lol. Love that, Emily. Kim says, I can't, Liam, this is Unreal Edit. Andrew says, wallpaper vibes. Oh yeah, this would make an amazing wallpaper. Love it. Looks amazing, says Darren. Intrigued, says Shutterfreak. Wow, says Anita. Holy grilled cheese Batman, the gooiness, says Kim. That's, I think, my favorite comment in the chat today. Holy grilled cheese Batman. That's incredible. Love this. Aubrey says, all for $8 seems like stealing. It basically is. I mean, if you think about what you buy for $8, get yourself an expensive coffee and a cake and you spend more than that. So for $8, you're going to get these incredible editing tools. You know, we're giving away the AI toolset for free just by subscribing to the newsletter. And then if you become a Quest member for $8, and if you become a Quest member today, you can download Elements, Quest 19 Elements immediately, which is the current set, which explores the various different elements of air, fire, spirit, water, and earth. Incredible preset collection. You can download that immediately, and then on the first, you're going to get your hands on these presets, which is Orphic Quest 20. Like I said, not only that, you get a discount off the Archipelago presets. If you're interested in purchasing any of the other Archipelago presets, you get 30% discount. Love that. I paid for a 6-month subscription because I figured out I couldn't miss a release. Yeah, so you can either choose to pay for it monthly or you can pay for 6 months in one go if you'd rather have that instead of a monthly payment going out of your account. So you've got the choice when you subscribe to do one or the other. And I love that you just went straight in for the 6-month subscription. You have got so many amazing goodies, probably already, but you're going to get so many amazing ones to come as well. So there we go. That's the edited images from this stream. Again, big thank you to the photographers for submitting these through. Some absolutely wonderful photos. It's a pleasure to edit these with the upcoming Orphic Quest 20 presets and of course the AI toolset. Now in a moment in the chat, we'll be announcing a winner of the pre-release copy of Orphic. So don't go anywhere just yet. And if you could do me a favor, give this video a like, which you can do right now. If you're not subscribed to our YouTube channel, go ahead and subscribe. We've got some amazing content on there. There's over 100 hours of videos on there now. We've got obviously live streams like this, which we do a couple of times a month. We've also got lots of tutorial content on there as well. So definitely subscribe, give this video a like. And there we go. The winners of the pre-release Orphic presets are Emily, Taylor, and Joni. All three of you are going to get a pre-release copy of Quest 20 Orphic. So just email us at the email that's in the chat there and we can get that sorted out for you. You get your hands on that early. You can edit before everyone else. And if you want bragging rights, you can share those in the Archipelago Facebook group. Share your edits and get everyone else excited and show off the fact that you've got those early. So big congratulations to those three for winning Orphic pre-release copy. And a massive thank you to everyone else for tuning in. It's been an awesome stream, as always. Like I say, we do these a couple of times a month. We have the new Archipelago edits, live stream which explores a different editing technique each stream. So far we did a dark and moody one, so if you're loving these presets and you want to see more dark and moody editing, there's a stream that you can now rewatch on YouTube, which is the dark and moody. We did a light and airy one. We'll have more of those to come, so in a couple of weeks time we'll be doing another one of those as part of the Archipelago edits. And also, obviously, these we do every month to showcase the upcoming Quest release. Again, you can become a Quest member today for $8. And that's going to get you the Quest 19 Elements presets if you download those straight away. And then on the 1st of October, you'll get your hands on Orphic, which is Quest 20. So again, thank you to everyone for tuning in. It's been an awesome stream. I'll see you again in another one in the future. Have a good one.